I've been thinking a lot about how it happens, how we slowly lose ourselves. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, in the middle of the mess. It's the swirl of questions we rarely say out loud. Is this it? Is this all there is? When will it get better? Will it ever get better? We don't want to seem ungrateful. We don't want to sound selfish. And we definitely don't want to admit that we're exhausted, and maybe even angry that no one seems to see it or see us. We tell ourselves, this is just a season. It'll pass. Just push through. Be grateful. Work harder. Do better. Smile anyway. But underneath it all, there's this quiet ache that wonders, is it always going to feel like this? And here's the thing, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not the only one feeling this way. This isn't about blaming anyone. This is about being honest and beginning to get curious. Because the truth is, you are never meant to live stuck in survival mode. Welcome to A Cup of Hope, where we talk about life, money, and finding beauty in the brokenness. Where we name what feels hard and remember what's still true. I'm your host, Sherry Lynn, and today we're pressing pause on the chaos to take the very first step toward alignment. Not perfection, not performance, just a small, quiet reset for your heart, your schedule, and your soul. Let me take you back to a moment I'll never forget. I was sitting at the airport, traveling home from a leadership retreat for my direct sales business. The theme for the year was Connect, and the company had created this clever challenge. If you connected the 4 dots, you could earn an iPad. Now, each dot represented a pillar of a growing business. But as I looked down at my planner, my journal, pages filled with my wheel of life, a list of 100 healthy habits, and a vision letter I had written for the year, I didn't feel inspired. I felt completely overwhelmed. I had 6 kids at home, and I was homeschooling them full-time. We were broke, not just a little tight, I mean deeply in debt and barely scraping by. Meals didn't come from the drive-thru. We simply didn't have the money. Most days, I was making meals from scratch, using pantry staples, and just praying that it would stretch. Every decision felt weighty. And yet, I felt the pressure to fix it all, to be the one who brought in the extra income, to raise godly children, to hold our home together, to be the glue, while everything inside of me felt like it was coming unglued. I remember sitting in that airport, staring at everything I had written, goals in every category: faith, marriage, parenting, finances, health, personal and spiritual growth. I wanted to change. I could see this life I longed for, but when I tried to turn those dreams into actual daily or weekly steps, I froze. That's when I sensed the Holy Spirit gently whisper, what if it's simpler than you think? What if all of this could be distilled into one word? Connect. And suddenly, everything came into focus. Connecting with God, connecting with my husband and my children, connecting with friends and family, connecting with the women I was called to serve. That word connect became a lifeline. a filter, a way to sift through the noise of the never ending expectations. That was the year I began choosing a word for the year, long before it was a trend, because I needed clarity in the chaos. I needed to realign. I didn't know it then, but that moment was the seed of what would become the Align Reset. It's not about doing more, it's about coming home to what matters. Over the years, I realized I wasn't alone. So many women were walking through the same chaos, carrying the same weight, and wondering if there was a better way. If that's you, I want you to know that you are not alone. And I want to invite you into something that's helped me and many of the women I've coached to begin to breathe again, to slow down, to get out of survival mode and take a small, intentional step forward that feels aligned with what actually matters. I call it the Align Reset. It's not a quick fix, and it's not one more thing to add to your already overloaded plate. It is a gentle, grace filled framework you can return to anytime life feels off track. And in this next season of the podcast, I'm going to walk you through each step. But today, we start with the big picture. What is Align? Where did it come from? And how can it help you start living from intention instead of exhaustion? Let's begin. A stands for awareness. You can't change what you don't name. So, where are you right now? Not where do you wish you were or where you pretend to be, but where are you actually? In this step, we'll take a moment to tell the truth about time, energy, finances, your relationships, your heart. This step creates a place for clarity. And this step is all about curiosity, not about judgment. So, where in your life do you feel out of sync right now? Next is L for life vision. This is about looking up and out to rediscover what God has placed in your heart. Not a Pinterest perfect version, but a life that reflects your vision, purpose, values, and mission. A version that brings peace. This is where we will dig in to discover who God created you to be. What part of your life have you stopped dreaming about? What kind of life do you want to create moving forward? And then next is I for inventory. This will be a gentle look at where your time, money, energy, and emotions are really going. It's where you will pull out your calendar and even a bank statement, because they will show you what you're actually building and investing in, not just what you hope for. This is where we check for alignment between what we say we value and how we're actually living. You might think about what is draining you right now and where you feel the most tension. Those are going to give you some clues. Next will be the growth plan. G is our growth plan with two prongs. Grace-filled rhythms and habits that support the woman you're becoming, and getting honest about what's in the way or may trip you up. We will identify lies that you're believing, habits, patterns, and fears that are keeping you stuck, and ways to defeat those lies and create new habits and patterns. This is where transformation begins, by gently naming the obstacles without shame. What is one habit that you want to return to or start fresh? And finally, N is for next steps, because perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Once you've paused, looked around, and told the truth, what possibilities begin to arise? This isn't about rushing into action or solving everything at once. It's about being curious. When you lay judgment down, your heart can finally whisper, maybe things could look different. And this is where new beginnings are born. Align gives you the tools to realign when life spins out of control. And we'll walk through each step together, one episode, one insight, one practical step at a time. But for today, I have a quick win challenge. I want you to take just 3 to 5 minutes today and ask yourself, where in my life am I just surviving instead of truly living? You don't need to fix it all right now. You just need to notice. This is where awareness begins, and that is the first step of Align. If this stirred something in you, I'd love to invite you to take the next step. Grab your free Align Reflection Guide, a beautiful and simple resource to help you walk through this process with intention and grace. Second, join the waitlist for the Align Coaching Group, where we will walk this out together in community. And finally, come say hi in the Cup of Hope Facebook group. I'd love to hear what this episode stirred in you. You don't have to figure this out alone. God is with you. And alignment begins with one small, faithful step. Thanks for joining me today. If this episode encouraged you, would you take 30 seconds to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend? And remember, God can take the broken pieces of your story and create something more beautiful than you could ever imagine.